It's obviously it's a big race to win the 100th anniversary of the Indianapolis 500.
Yeah.
What I got to ask you, you're driving, and also, you guys have seen it all. But weren't you thinking, what the fuck? I'm going to win this thing because this guy crashes?
Do you know what? I didn't until I looked at the replay. I watched the replay a few times now.
Yeah.
And it's different. It's different when you're in the cockpit. That's one of those things. You can be a Monday morning quarterback. Like the guy that he was overtaking around the outside was going incredibly slow.
Right.
The closing rate for us, I was probably approaching him doing 225 miles an hour. So if he catches somebody that's 150 and he slows down to that speed, I'll be on that kid really quick.
Right.
So he was probably concerned about that. I know he was being told, because he was having to save fuel, I wasn't, that I was coming. And then he made that decision. But it's always a big risk going around the outside. It's very much a one line, as we say, racetrack. But when you get up into that grey, it just sucks you right into the wall.
The rubber is laid down in the groove, right? And that's pretty much where you guys stay. You get up high, what do you get? Little marbles?
Yeah, you get the marbles and the dust and just dirt. And, like I said, what happens as soon as the car gets up in there, it just goes light, and then it won't react to the
From
steering
his
wheel.
in-car camera, you could see the front end got really light and kind of slid over it looked like for no apparent reason.
Yeah, it's just there's no grip.
Yeah.
No grip. So,
How did you know he was running low on fuel? Do you guys know that about the other cars?
Yeah, just with strategy.
He pulled up next to him and looked at his gauge.
He came alongside and held up that thing. No, it's he decided to pit. He actually was running about 8th, 9th, or 10th the whole day. So at that point in the race, teams will try different things to get their car up front. Well, what they did is they kind of pitted before us and then just tried to, stretch out, the amount of laps he could do on a tank of fuel. Myself and another guy, Scott Dixon, we pitted. It was a disadvantage from the standpoint of track position, but it meant that we could go flat out for the rest of the way.
Push it harder, yeah.
So we were coming with a head of steam for sure.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, you are.
Now, you're saying you were coming with a head of steam. Now, obviously, if this guy hadn't wrecked, you were second. So what were you thinking maybe 5 laps before this happened? Were you thinking that you had a chance of catching this guy, or were you pretty much relegated to the fact that you might be second here?
No, so my team had told me that this was his 36th lap he'd done 36 laps on that tank of fuel, so he was close to running out. And it's one of those things where you just got to go for it.
So you were going flat out just trying to catch this guy.
Yeah, because you got to put him under pressure. He could run out at any time. So for me, it was important just to stay flat out and keep the pressure on, and in effect hope that he
pushes it too far, runs out of gas
before the start finish line, and then I'd have been able to capitalize.
Now, probably a dumb question, but obviously in the end it was a mistake. But he had no choice. He had to try to pass him on the outside like that. Or was there something else he could have done that he didn't do?
He could have bottled up behind that car,
but you were screaming up on him.
Exactly, and that's why he chose not to do that. So it's one of those things.
So he pretty much had to do that maneuver.
Yeah, if you like, I think you got to have that mentality, that winning mentality, and he didn't want to give up the Indy 500 by braking and sitting behind another car. He wanted to go for it, which you got to give him credit for.
Here's a question of, you're never going to know what would have or could have happened, but let's say he tucks up behind him around the curve.
Yeah.
Right after he's out of that curve, now he comes out to pass him. He's already slowed down to stay behind him around the curve. You come out of that curve flying. Do you think you could have passed him on that straight if he had to slow down for that car before the finish line?
Yeah, at the rate I was coming, there would have been a good chance.
Yeah, that you might have nailed him if he had safely gone behind that guy until he hit the straight.
Well, how come you could have made the turn and he couldn't, because he was passing somebody and had to go farther out?
He was passing on the right.
Yeah,
so
there was no one in the way for him.
Right,
he would have been in the straight, been able to come around and blow past him, probably because he still would have been coming up to speed.
He was younger, thinking, "Damn, this $2.5 million checks."
Oh man,
$2.5 million?
That's what the winner gets.
Yeah, I think I got just under 2.6.
$2.5 million. Not
never
$2.5
talk
million.
money. I love your talking about.
Wow.
So what does he?
That's
Wait,
nice.
what does he
That's
come
what
in?
you guys make in an hour, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Did he make second place? That guy?
Yeah, so he made, I think for
Instead of 2.6, what does he get?
he would have got
Set
$1
of
million.
steak knives.
$1 million.
Yeah,
So that crash cost him 1.6.
yeah.
Well,
Mill's still pretty
wow,
good, though.
Man.
He's a rookie, right?
Yeah, he's his first year.
Wow, damn. So now you passed this wreck. Did you see it? How close did you get to it? Did you take your eye off the prize there for a second to take a look? Did you rubberneck?
No. I tell you, this is a true story. I followed Sam Hornish. We were in practice in 2006, and there was a crash in front of the two of us. Sam hit the debris. He was going dead straight. He ran over a piece of carbon, and it flipped the car. So in all seriousness, when he crashed, the last thing I was thinking is, damn, I'm going to win this race. Like, the biggest thing for me was to avoid the debris. Mm-hmm. And you never know what an IndyCar driver's thinking, right? You're leading the Indy 500. You hit the wall. You've got the second place guy coming. Like, do you drive across the track and take him with you and hope that you get,
hope you come across the track first, the line first.
I'm like, so I got to avoid the debris, and it was important for me to focus on making sure that I could react quick enough if he decided to come back across the track. And once I cleared that, then I'm like, yes, I've just won my second race.
What did you say to yourself in the car? Was there a holy shit? Come on. Yeah. What was it? Yeah, I need to know.
Dude, honestly, there was a lot of emotion. It wasn't like a holy shit. There was just a ton of emotion. There was a lot going on for me. Obviously, this is my only one, or it was my only race that I'm contracted to do. I'm actually unemployed right now. So
jeez.
It's the biggest unemployment check I received.
Yeah, right.
But,
wait, you don't have a sponsor right now?
No, my deal was just for that one race.
Take that shirt off. Why are you giving them free advertising?
I'm out of contract, so
well,
maybe I should, right?
You gotta have something kind of in the pipe. You've been talking, I bet, right?
Yeah, well, the biggest thing for me, certainly at my stage in my career, is to make sure I'm with a good team. I mean,
right.
You know, you want to do this to win, and you know, with all due respect to a lot of the teams out there, it's hard for them to compete with a couple of the big guys.